Carol, thanks very much.
Did you get some good Christmas presents this year? Have you ever had one where you've thought, oh, that's not quite hit the spot?
Do you know what, Nina? Even if I had, I wouldn't admit it, because somebody's gone out and spent their hard-earned cash and thought about buying a gift, so that would just be mean.
Well, you're much nicer than some of our viewers who have been in touch this morning, because later on we're talking about presents that you've been gifted that you aren't so keen on, and what your options are, whether to give them back or keep them or exchange them.
And are you having people sending you stuff?
Well, Jane's got in touch with me on Twitter. Her husband was brave enough to get her a large, deflatable, collapsible, not deflatable, sorry, laundry basket, which he says is the Rolls-Royce of collapsible laundry baskets. No comment to Jane or her husband.
We need to see the picture, really, don't we?
We will show you the picture a little bit later on, but do get in touch if there's any presents you've received which haven't gone down well as they might, if you're not quite as generous as Carol, who will not name and shame.
We've been talking a little bit about Christmas presents this morning. It was prompted by the notion that gifts that don't quite work or aren't appreciated. I think the marker for this, though, is that if you get a gift at all, that's lovely.
Yeah, it is.
It is lovely, something to be appreciated, but it may not necessarily be quite what you want.
No, good caveat, Charlie. In a moment, we'll find out what you can do if you want to send them back. Firstly, though, we went out to find out which present haven't quite done it for you this year.
Socks.
Why didn't you like
Just because they were just socks.
A lot of socks. Too much of socks.
How many?
Well, you got quite a lot.
10 pairs.
Yeah.
I got a Nottingham Forest shirt, so that was a good one.
You got
But Melissa's got a Manchester United badge, so that's a particularly bad.
He wasn't very happy about that.
Are you happy with that? Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
It was a really bad handbag. It wasn't leather, not that it asked to be leather, but it was a really horrible plastic and it had all different coloured butterflies all over it, and as much as it sounds lovely, it was terrible.
I gave you some deodorant.
Yeah, but I don't mind that. I'd have got myself that.
Yeah, exactly. You know when it gets to the stage where you're just wrapping up anything? Just, we need toothpaste this week. We've stuck that in the stocking, yeah.
Just the usual, isn't it? Socks and underpants.
Oh, no, those things you hang on your glasses so they don't fall off.
Oh, thank you. I bought you
That is
those.
very, very...
It was when we first got together and I was you know how you do when you're just going out for the first time, you think you're going to get something really, really nice, lingerie, something like that. I got a small box of Ferrero Rocher and you've never lived it down since, have you?
I've suffered for 25 years.
But we've not had no.
Box of Ferrero Rocher.
Nothing wrong with a pair of socks, I would add. What to do then if you do want to return unwanted gifts for a refund? Let's speak with consumer rights campaigner Helen Judy, who styles herself as the complaining cow. First of all, any complaints from you this year on your prezzies?
No, I don't think so this year.
Oh, that's good to hear. So, you open the box or the wrapper, it's not quite what you're expecting. What happens if the receipt isn't there?
Well, if you haven't got the receipt, there are some stores that might take the item back. So some of the big retailers may take it back without a proof of purchase. But if they do, then they're going to give you the price that the item is at the moment. So if it's gone down in the sale, that will be the price that you get. But basically, it comes down to a change of mind. And in store, they do not have to return it. They don't have to replace it.
Interesting, though, that you don't necessarily need the receipt.
No, you don't, but you do sort of legally, if it's if there was something faulty, then you would be able to take that back. But if it's just a change of mind, you don't really have a leg to stand on unless it's been bought online, and then you'd have a change of mind if you're the person that's purchased the item.
But just to be clear, morning to you, Helen, if you've got the receipt, you can just take, or you've been given the receipt along with it, you can just say, don't like it, that's a straightforward transaction if you've got the receipt.
If you've been given a gift receipt, it's basically saying that the store will take it back and they'll either give you an exchange or the money back. They wouldn't give the gift receipt unless they were prepared to do that.
What would you say to someone who feels maybe psychologically there's a block about returning a gift and changing it because they feel it's ungrateful, they feel it might upset the person who gave them the gift? Do we need to just separate that emotion and be a bit more practical?
I think it's really quite difficult. It's probably a more of having a discussion that actually let's have fewer presents next year because there is so much waste and there is so many unwanted gifts. But if you sort of upcycle, recycle, give it to charity, then you have got that element of actually you are paying it forward.
Are there some things, Helen, that always end up? Is there a kind of a top 10 of things that are given that frankly aren't wanted? Does that list exist?
I don't know. There's an official list, but I think your clips have showed that socks are quite a common gift that are unwanted.
But you can't go wrong with socks. Am I the only one?
We all need socks, don't we?
Everybody needs socks, don't they? How can that be a problem?
I don't know, but your clips have showed that it was. I think it's. I don't know. I think people just think it isn't a Christmas present. It's more of a standard. You go out and buy your own socks. But I think if you buy some funny socks, then there's something to be said for socks.
I suppose you could get into the world of discussing presents in advance of Christmas or birthdays, but for me, that takes a bit of the spirit out of it, doesn't it?
It is hard, to talk, but we have seen more over the years that people talk about only buying children's presents, presents for the children or a secret Santa to try and reduce that waste, but still have the spirit of Christmas. If you do a secret Santa or a Santa roulette, there's still presents being given, but less waste.
And just on the receipt thing, Helen, just one thought: is evidence of a transaction, your credit card transaction, is that evidence enough of the purchase if you haven't got the receipt?
Yes, it's a proof of purchase. So if you're the person that's bought the item and you've got that proof of purchase, you haven't got the receipt, but you've got this credit card, then that will show that you have bought the item. So if you bought something online, that would be your proof of purchase too.
Helen, thank you very much.
We're going to go through some of the underwhelming gifts you've received and share with us. We start with Virginia. She found a mop bucket under the tree from her husband. What was she thinking?
Is there no picture of that? Have we not got a picture? Ah, OK.
How about this for a practical gift?
What is this?
Toilet seat. It's a toilet seat received by Elizabeth. I mean, I guess we can safely say it'll get used.
And how about this hairstyling product sent to Ian's brother by his mum? Again, unlikely to be needed. Don't
give up, Ian. There's still some hair on the sides there. And finally, Susie told us she got a calendar for Christmas. Unfortunately for her, she won't use it for long. It was for 2022.
It's the thought that counts, right?
Enjoy the rest of your day. We're back tomorrow from 6. Bye-bye.